Good morning. Back in 1947, when I was in my senior year of high school, I got my bell rung pretty good playing soccer. I was a fullback in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, and the opposing goalie kicked the ball, and I headed it, and I got a concussion. And I remember it very vividly for some odd reason, which is probably a good thing, actually, come to think of it. But I remember the smelling salts, I remember passing out, and I remember the protocol that followed it, because much of the protocol for concussions today is exactly like it was 50 years ago, 45 years ago when I played high school soccer. And what they did was they would keep you up all night. They'd say, don't go to sleep because there's a chance you could slip into a coma. So my mom, God bless her, would come into my room every hour on the hour and she'd say, how you doing? And every hour on the hour I said the same thing. Mom, I'm doing fine, but I wasn't an hour ago. When I told you I was okay, I wasn't, but I am now. Sales is like that. You start out in sales and then you're 6 months later, maybe a year later, you say, wow, I think I'm really getting this. You know, what an idiot I was a year ago. And then in your second year, you look back on your first year and say, what an idiot I was back then, but I've got it now. And this goes on and on and on. But the problem is that a lot of salespeople stop. They stop growing and they stop learning. And it's one of the best pieces of advice my brother ever gave me. He said, become a student of sales. Become a lifelong learner. And I encourage you to continue this and to take Andy's advice, because I think it's spot on. Case in point, you ask anybody my age, and I'll be 62 this month, what's your biggest sales challenge? And you're probably going to hear on that list things like, I can't sell to people half my age. So if you're not learning, if you're not constantly revisiting the fundamentals, if you're not participating in something maybe your print affiliate is putting on, if you're not reading something, How to Win Friends and Influence People, if you've read it, reread it, if you're not listening to anything by Tony Robbins, if you're not constantly marinating in sales and you stop growing, you'd better hope that you never lose an account. Because if you haven't noticed yet, gang, things have changed. The buyers are younger, hybrid workers are very difficult to find, and even though the fundamentals haven't changed, there's some nuances to sales which never existed before, which COVID sped up. So you better keep up with your selling skills. That's my lesson for you this week. Get growing. Stay growing. And I'll talk to you next week. Stay growing. And I'll talk to you next week. Have a great selling week. I'm going to stop doing these first thing in the morning.